ever meet somebody and they have a weird first impression? Me too. Okay, so earlier today, I drove a Lincoln Town car that was modified. And then, thankfully, we also have another Panther body. We have an earlier generation Crown Victoria set up for autocross and track racing, something I thought I'd never say in a sentence. But until I saw this car years ago at our local car meet in Virginia when I still lived here. So, thankfully Philip, after all these years, was like, hey man, you still never reviewed it. You gotta do it. And here I am, I'm driving a manual Crown Victoria. So let's see how it does. It's got everything from custom springs, polyurethane stuff, the subframe is all well done. Like literally everything, you can't do anything else to this thing to make it handle any better. There is nothing left. He even experimented with parts from like a 96 Mustang to see if it would fit. He was like, oh yeah, that'll totally work. Made that work. Basically, using everything from say the SN95 era to the Panther body, there's a lot of things that crisscross over between those two platforms, especially the engine itself. The engine itself is a 2-valve engine that you would pretty much find in the new Edge Mustang. It's not exactly like it, but it's really freaking close. It's actually pretty much just like the Lincoln Town car we just did without the cam. But there's these blue hoses on this engine that are actually considered kind of an ancient relic because you should never get rid of them apparently, because they're actually kind of expensive if you don't have them. The reason being is they're supposed to basically last forever. The motors that were found, like the police interceptors, the Lincoln Town cars, actually a lot of people vouch as more reliable than the Mustangs. It sounded really good, but it wasn't that fast. At least in the police interceptor and the Lincoln Town car, it quote unquote wasn't supposed to be that fast. Ford took this motor, they squeezed it to a pulp, they put in as much stuff as they could, and that was the end of it. When you're driving on a smooth back road like I am today, you take corners, you take everything, you don't break a sweat. I'm doing this one-handed when usually, if you're driving a factory Crown Vic, there is a zone in the steering when you start turning it like this and it doesn't want to turn yet. It doesn't want to turn yet. Transmission, 5-speed manual transmission, pretty much what you would find in the new Edge Mustang. And it feels pretty good. It's easier to drive than a T56 Magnum. And at the same time, it has a good notchy feeling to where you go, oh yes, yeah, I'm in gear. The speedo though is kind of wonky due to the way the sensor works, so it feels like, or it looks like I'm going 140 all the time sometimes. But I actually really like the looks of this car. The first time I ever saw it was at a Richmond Cars and Coffee, and then I also saw it at a nighttime meet back in the day where Philip said, hey, guess what? It's like pitch black outside, but you want to go for a drive in this Crown Victoria? And I said, yeah, I'll go drive a Crown Victoria because I'd never driven one before. And then, you know, the tint's 35% on the windshield, so I couldn't see diddly squat, so I just went for it anyway, and Philip got mad at me for not going hard enough. So I crested this hill and the car kind of unloaded a little bit, but it's okay, I was ready for it. But even if you try to upset it a little bit, when you turn in a little too fast, you don't give it the chance to grip and come in, it still counters right back. It's not an issue. Your inputs are not that bad. You're not like swinging it back and forth. The car is stable. It goes straight. As long as you know that the steering wheel is like just a hair crooked, you're fine. That's nice, it has burbles. What? Here, look, watch. Now that's good bang for your buck for sound. The one thing about the 2-valve though is the red line is very low. So I accidentally hit limiter earlier. Oh, sorry, I hit it again. But I am just cruising down this road, not a care in the world. I really thought that I was gonna have to kind of manhandle this thing. It's the complete opposite. But I also want to add that I think the secret's out, right? I think people are starting to find out that the Panther bodies are such strong platforms because they were meant to literally live forever. And so now the prices are starting to go up of these cars that if you went to an auction in town, you can get for 800 to 1200 bucks for a good one. And now people are taking advantage of them and turning them into race cars. This makes no sense to me. it goes against their entire philosophy. This car goes against, okay, you know what? It doesn't go completely against all its philosophy because it was meant to chase people. So I understand how it had the potential to be really good, but this is a million times better than driving a stock Crown Vic, thankfully. But you have control alarms, you have all the suspension done. So when you think about it, you have a stock drivetrain that was literally meant to be invincible. Then you can just really focus on the important stuff: wheels, tires, brakes, suspension. And then the interior is you put a seat in it, you put a manual gearbox in it, and then you are good to go. You have a freaking budget build that not a lot of people can keep up with sometimes. But I would absolutely love to see this on an autocross. Think about it. Rear-wheel drive, V8, sounds good, manual gearbox, comfortable interior, affordable to fix. Yeah, like, it's a really good package if you think about it. The reason I'm really putting emphasis on how smooth the suspension is and how smooth the driving experience is that you could daily drive this every single day. You could. Even with the racing seat, it would not beat you up. Like, I've been driving this for a good bit now, and usually with kind of people who take, let's say, unorthodox cars and make them project cars, a lot of the times you drive it for like 30 minutes and you're like, all right, I get it, I've had enough, I'm tired, I get what you're trying to do, but I don't think it was quite there. This literally checks all of the boxes in a lot of ways in an affordable price. We also have 373 rear end, by the way, so that really added a little pep to her step. It has shorter gears, so it's more fun to drive. Because if this thing had the original gears in it, I am pretty sure it'd be just a very, very long, drawn-out experience. Like, I'm getting on this full throttle back there. That clip you just saw was full throttle, and it's just like, just barely there. So when you're, you know, mobbing in your Crown Vic, you're not bothering anybody. It's just funny to me how people who had really low budgets, this is over 10 years, maybe 20 years, people took Crown Vics and they made them either race cars, autocross cars, everything from donks to, you name it, a police interceptor. It was a good value to buy when they were done with them, because high mileage pretty much didn't matter. So, on that note, what do I think about an autocross / track prepped Crown Victoria? I am actually extremely impressed. I'm not just saying that because Philip's my friend. I really, really admire what he did, because it was kind of breaking new ground for a lot of people. People were coming to him for advice about Panther bodies all the time because he figured a lot of weird things out with this thing. And I think he should be proud of that and proud of this car because it's just a really unique experience. So, on that note, what do you guys think about the Crown Victoria? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. Crown Vics in general, put it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.